In my last video, one of my regulars asked me, can you do a quick video about Create Schematic Table, the schematics and the Schematic Cannon, how this thing works, where do the files go, how do you use it basically. So here's a build. I didn't build this. This comes from Meg Ray, M-E-G-R-A-E. She has a YouTube channel with professional, easy to follow tutorial build videos on there. This I thought would look cool in my world. That's why I'm using this. I'm going to link her video for this build in my video description. I would recommend if you're looking for something cool to build and you don't have any ideas or you're not that great at building, go check out her channel. She's got a bunch of different tutorials on there. She does a very professional job on explaining how everything's done step by step, along with proper documentation to follow it to make it even easier. This is my version of her build. This is what I want in my world. So I'm going to make a schematic of this, right? I got a nerd pole there and a block down here that don't belong in any of this. This block is the first corner of this build that I want to copy. So I take this, a Schematic and Quill. I right click on this guy. Boom, it says first position set. Right, now we go up here, all the way up to the tippity, right click again. Whatever's inside this blue box is what's going to be on your schematic. So as long as your build or whatever you're trying to copy is in there, you're good to go. Now, we don't want this wood with us, right? So I don't have to be holding the schematic. Let's just get rid of the wood. Because I've also noticed that a lot of people that share schematics, this is always part of it for whatever reason. And I think it might have been a thing in the past where you couldn't do that, but now you can. Pull the schematic back in your hand, right click again, and we're going to call this Tube Dwarf. Has a name. I click save. Boom, it's saved as Tube Dwarf. Cool. So now if I go to a schematic table on the same mod pack that I'm playing in right now, that schematic is going to be part of my schematic table and what I can access in here. So I just right click on this dude and I have schematics in here. Here's the Tube Dwarf. Boom. I put an empty schematic in here. I hit the check mark. It uploads that schematic onto here and it's going to give me a schematic. Cool. Now, if I hold this schematic in my hand and I right click in the world, boom, I can place this schematic right here. Cool. There's a couple options you got here with left alt, hold down left alt, and you can move with your scroll wheel the different things. So if I wanted to change the rotation of this, I would scroll to rotate and then hold down control and scroll wheel my mouse and then it spins it, right? Easy peasy. Same thing with if I wanted to go move it up. I don't like where it is. Boom, hold down control, scroll wheel. Okay. Now in creative mode, if I wanted to place this dude down, I can do Alt, scroll all the way to print, right click, boom, and it prints it in the world. Cool. So that's how you use them in creative. And now we move on to where do the files go. I use CurseForge as my modded launcher. This isn't a what launcher is the best topic, but this is what I use. So in order to access it in here, you hover over the mod pack that has the schematic that you want in there. You right click, boom, and then you go to open folder. This is going to take you to your Minecraft instance, right? And then down here, schematics, double click on that, boom, and you see Tube Dwarf, right? So if I wanted to transfer this to a different one, let's say I wanted to go here, I would open here, open this folder. Now I have my new mod pack that I want to transfer the schematic to. So what I need to do now is I need to open up schematics for this instance that I want to move it to. I'm opening up schematics and I have a bunch of different ones in there. I want to take this one and you can copy it, or I'm just going to drag it because I don't want it in the other world. I want it over here because I want to put it in the world that I'm playing right now. If somebody gives you a schematic or you download one off the internet or whatever, this is where you put them. Open up your instance, wherever your instance is for the game that you want to play, and in schematics, you just drag and drop it in there. It has to be a .mbt file, and most of them are not going to be too crazy as far as the amount of memory that they take. So we now have the Tube Dwarf MBT schematic in my new Create folder. We can close these out and then launch new Create. And now that I'm in my survival world, I need to make paper. Boom, paper and light blue dye give you an empty schematic. Cool. So now if I go over to where I think I want to place this thing, I already have the cannon set up from building the BMO bot thing. There's a bunch of material in this box that's left over from that, and I have a schematic table. Right click on this dude, and then we're going to scroll down. You notice how Tube Dwarf is in here. Add the empty schematic there, boom, click that, and we'll get a schematic of Tube Dwarf. And then I just need to figure out a place. Where do I want to put this thing? I'd like to keep it somewhere. I was thinking around here personally, but that's a problem because my cannon and everything is in the way right now, is it not? So what if I did something like this and we just click the ground and see how it looks, right? It looks like it's going to take over the world, but the beauty of the schematic is you can move it wherever you want. So I think it looks better over here. And I believe you can also mirror these so it would look cool with one there and one here flanking the netherite deal, right? And I have it placed pretty much, I think, where I want to put it. Now, if I wanted to move it some more, if I stand outside the blue box and let's say I wanted to move it away from me, X, Z, Alt, scroll to that, and then scroll while holding Control, and you can move it back and forth. And the easiest way that I've found to move these is by looking at the face you want it to move the direction, and then use your scroll wheel, pull it towards you to pull it towards you, push away from you to push away from you. And I think this placement looks good. As long as I'm not interfering with water wheels or anything else here, we should be good to rock and roll and say, okay, I like it there. And from this point forward, everything's pretty simple. We have it placed where we want it. We're happy with where it's going. We walk over to the Schematic Cannon, take our schematic, put it in here, and it says it's ready. Meaning there's gunpowder in here. Every piece of gunpowder, I believe, does 400 shots. So however big your build is, if you load this with gunpowder, stack of it, you're probably good enough, and you don't need to add more. Okay, now the other thing is I don't have any of the parts pieces that I need in here. So if I click play right now, nothing would happen. Put a clipboard in there. This clipboard was empty, and this is a checklist printer. So now I have a material checklist on a clipboard. Access to everything that I need to build this thing. There's already some stuff in here from before, so I did have some pieces, and notice how they're green already. So now I need to get busy on crafting all this other stuff. And I'm not going to bore you with any of that. But as I do it, I'm going to keep popping this checklist in here to see and make sure that it has everything that it needs. And then once I'm done, I come over to here. And what you need to make sure of is your inventory that you're putting blocks into has to be directly next to this cannon, or it won't pull from it. Couple things. This right here. I always use don't replace solid blocks, meaning if there's a solid block in the way of where your schematic is, I want it to stay there as whatever it was. I don't want my building replaced by anything. Specifically, I don't want it replaced by air. This one, I believe, would do air. One of these would do air, and I don't want to do that and ruin my building, right? So I always do this one, don't replace solid blocks. The other one is skip missing blocks, meaning if I don't have a part that this cannon needs for its next shot, it'll just move past that and then keep going and keep building. So if I set this thing up and my world is loaded, I could just go drink coffee. And then when I come back, I'll have a dwarf, right? The other one is this one right here, protect block entities. This one's pretty important. So it says the cannon will avoid replacing data holding blocks such as chests. Meaning if I didn't have that one clicked, and for some reason my schematic air block or something was right here, it would replace that drawer that's filled with netherite scrap with air, and I'd be pretty bent. So we always make sure that we're not doing that one too. And then once I get a material in here, you just click play, and you can stand here and watch your cannon shoot from 16 miles away and build your dwarf. But I got materials to get, and that's not part of the video. That's how you use a schematic, schematic cannon, and how you get the schematic into your files where they need to be. Thanks for watching. Peace.